Welcome back to Artist on Record. Today we have more of your questions for Bob Daisley. He's going to answer them right now. Don't touch that dial. Some have written to us, and some will get answered in today's episode. Enjoy. Let's kick off today's episode with a question from David White. Ask him about the letter from June 1980 that is allegedly written by Ozzy talking about the band being called the Blizzard of Oz. What
I
letter?
have seen that. I've seen a photocopy of that letter in Ozzy's handwriting, and it was to Tony Iommi. And he said, I've got a new band, and it's called the Blizzard of Oz. And that was in his handwriting. Of course, the band was called the Blizzard of Oz.
Wow.
That was one thing that even before Lee came in, that Randy and I were adamant about having a band name. We said we don't mind if Ozzy's name's in it, or if it says featuring the voice of Black Sabbath or featuring Ozzy Osbourne or whatever, but we want a band name. It's not going to be called the Ozzy Osbourne Band, and it's not going to be called anything other than a band name. So Ozzy said that Ozzy's father had died not long before that, and I know that broke Ozzy up, but his father suggested the name the Blizzard of Oz because it had Oz in it, so we thought, yep. But the Blizzard of Oz sounds like a band name. It's obviously not a solo project. So Randy and I said, well, we're doing too much to have like a solo project thing. It's got to be a band. And when Lee came in, he was just as adamant as us. And so we said, yep, the Blizzard of Oz it is then. Okay, so we named the band the Blizzard of Oz.
Right.
But when the album came out, it's got in big writing Ozzy Osbourne, in smaller writing the Blizzard of Oz, and it makes it look like an Ozzy Osbourne record called the Blizzard of Oz. So, but the band was called the Blizzard of Oz, and that, yes, that letter that Dave White's talking about is there's a copy of that letter floating about on the net. It's in Ozzy's handwriting, and it's to Tony Iommi, and he's talking about his new band called the Blizzard of Oz. Yes.
Well, which this was a promo. It says Blizzard of Oz
Well,
right here.
that's a Jet Records from a Jet Records photo session and promo photograph of the band.
There you go.
I mean, that wasn't about an album. That's the name of the band, and it's got Blizzard of Oz written under it. Early involvement in the band, asking to confirm that Ozzy punched Randy Rhoads.
Is there any truth to that?
Oh yeah, Ozzy punched Randy. Yeah, I wasn't there, but Tommy Aldrich was, and Don Airy, and they told me that they witnessed that, they saw it. Because I remember Tommy told me, he said, yeah, because I remember he used the American term sucker punch. He said it was a sucker punch too, meaning that Randy wasn't even looking when Ozzy whacked him, and that's according to Tommy. I wasn't there, but I'm just relaying what Tommy told me, and yes.
So bam. What was that all?
He
Why?
called him an ungrateful little shit because he told me that. Well, see, Randy wanted to leave. He wanted to leave the band. He wanted to pursue his master's degree and study and just leave the band and go off the road. And that upset Ozzy. And apparently, it is alleged that Ozzy punched him and called him an ungrateful little shit.
And that was it.
That was it. Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And what was the other part of the question?
That was the other part. The other part he wrote, I can't
the
see
narrative.
Asking about to confirm the Ozzy punch
early involvement in the band. I don't know what does he mean? Asking about the bullshit narrative.
Yeah. Ask him about the BS narrative.
About the early involvement in the band. I'm not sure what he means there, but
yeah. And then he says, I have many other questions, but that's all he wrote. That was his email. That's what I got from him. But Dave, thanks for the question if you're watching, and thanks for the email. Thanks for writing. Let's see what else. Now we put some questions, ask Bob. Let's see what some people say over here really quick. Why did Bob not play in Birmingham yesterday?
We've covered that one. Yeah.
I think there's too much. Who wrote that? At GYX4 53. Well,
Mhm.
you know what? I think we did cover it, and after listening to this, I think you know why.
Yeah.
But it would have been nice to see Bob up there, just be recognized. I mean, Bob, you're the Paul McCartney of the Blizzard of Oz. That's all I'm going to say. You're that guy, and you can't disregard that. Your legacy lives on. You know it. I mean, the fans know it, and they're telling you right here. Let's see the next one.
When writing with Randy, did you find that chord progressions and arrangements were half and half, or did you prompt Randy and help him develop those skills? I think the environment of Randy and me writing together brought out the best in both of us. Randy had some great musical ideas, but he needed to be in the right environment to really shine. Because if you look at what he did in Quiet Riot, I mean they
Mhm.
were a decent band, but they were sort of glam pop rock, and that wasn't really what Randy needed to make him bring himself out of himself. And I think with Randy and myself working together, it brought the best out in both of us. But uh, it's not something that you consciously do. It just things happen, you know. Somebody will play something, and somebody else will play a little different something, and all of a sudden you have a new part, and it's there's a lot of spontaneity involved as well, and things that just happen. You know, it's chemistry, it's a formula, and it's energies, and the stars were aligned, and we were meant to do it. I'm very very honoured to have played with Randy. You know, what a great player, and what a great musician.
One more I'll put up here for you.
Okay.
Let's see what this last one is right here. Boom, right over here. I like to shoot names. I can't read it. Is it Jemba Docs has a question. Did Sharon do
Mhm.
all the dirty work about shafting them commercially, keeping Ozzy out of it, or did Ozzy actively join in? Was Ozzy really dumb, or did he just play dumb? Curious to know. P.S. Bob, you're a rock legend. Well, there you
Ah.
go. So
Okay.
did
I think a lot of Ozzy wasn't particularly well educated, but I think he was quite street smart. And I think he hid behind this. I don't know. You'll have to ask Sharon. It was a bit like that, and I think I think Ozzy was a bit kind of non-confrontational and a little bit weak and a little bit cowardly, and he left Sharon to do the dirty work, and he wouldn't have done it himself.
mm,
But you know, it was Sharon that phoned me and told me that Lee and I were out, and then about like I said, 6 weeks later, I got the phone call saying, "Will you do the third album with Ozzy and Randy and Tommy Aldrich?" But yeah, I think politically, Ozzy was deliberately kept out of it, just as a sort of a move on their part. But yeah, he wouldn't have been the one to phone up and say, well, this is how it is or isn't or whatever.
yeah, there you go. And
And
P.S. You're a rock
yeah,
legend. That's a nice one right there.
yeah. Well, thank you.
But anyway, Bob, I appreciate you being here and always great talking with you and chatting with you.
Yeah,
It's
nice to talk to you. It's always enjoyable,
yeah.
and I appreciate the fans' questions and their interest. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, we'll have to do more with the fans and get some more questions from
Yeah,
them
we can
too.
do. Yeah, we can do a send in your questions kind of thing and do that for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're
There
open.
might be new questions if they read the book because people seem to love the book. It's getting great reviews on Amazon and that, so it's been very well received.
Everybody click on the link, order the book, get it now, and make sure after this ends, click here and here for our next episode. Remember, who loves you, baby? We do. Thanks for listening. Thanks for checking it out. And now check out Bob's book. And also, we'll do some giveaways. So make sure you go in the description and check it all out. We'll see you all later. Bye bye, everybody.